Oregon is not done when it comes to the 2024 recruiting class. Most of the country, though, is finished. But Oregon, they are trending for a top 50 wide receiver. His name's Gatlin Bair. And I got Justin Hopkins from Scoop Duck on this video. We're going to find out if it's going to be Michigan or Oregon for Bair. Also, Dan Lanning getting a jump on 2025 recruiting. He had a couple elite recruits on campus last weekend. We're going to talk about them too. But first, Oregon fans, look at this. Less than 6 months with this page, and it's already over 40K. I thank you, but let's get this thing to 50K. Hit subscribe for me. All right, let's bring on Justin Hopkins from Scoop Duck, and we'll talk about the big names on campus, starting with Femi Delaney, the #2 safety in America. What's the relationship with Femi Delaney? Because he came in from across the country over in Maryland.
Yeah, that's a guy that, safety defensive back coach Chris Hampton has been working for a while already. And, this is not his first trip to Oregon, but it was a very successful trip. The Ducks ultimately laid out the red carpet, as you would expect, all that. But the feeling is coming out of this trip that they feel like they're certainly, cemented really strongly in that top 2, top 3 position, which is a great spot to be in. Nobody expects him to make an immediate decision. This is probably a recruitment that'll go on for months and months. So for now, Oregon's done a great job getting on that short list and positioning themselves to get him back on campus this spring as well.
All right, now we'll talk about DeAndre Hill. He's out of Belleville, Illinois, so another long-distance trip over to campus. Number 88 overall, and he's the 6th best athlete in America. Justin, where does Oregon like DeAndre Hill? Where does he fit in? Offense, defense?
Yeah, this is a guy that running back coach Carlos Laughlin has been prioritizing, and he did talk about the relationship there and the fact that the Ducks do like him on offense, which I think is a great fit for his skill set. He's just a really complete back and a guy that Oregon has prioritized. And I would say if we're looking at Oregon's running back big board, Hill's probably at least number 2 on that list. Jordan Davidson's another one that the Ducks are pushing hard for. Those are a couple of the guys early, but they did great. Talked to Hill, loved the visit. One of these things that has resonated, as it did with Hill, was just what we've talked about with Dan Lanning, sticking to his roots in Oregon and the grass being damn green in Eugene. And that's really resonating with recruits and definitely did with Hill as well.
Okay, now we'll talk about Achilles Smith here in a second, but Justin Hill, no relation to DeAndre Hill, he was on campus. He's from Cincinnati, Ohio. Seems to be a pretty big priority. Where do you put him on that edge defensive line board right now for Oregon?
Yeah, this is definitely a priority. Dan Lanning did take time out of his last couple of weeks to visit Hill, which means there's a lot of interest there on Oregon's part at least. That was reciprocated, of course, with Hill coming to visit Oregon on his own dime, so that's big. I would say this is probably a top 2 or 3 guy on the edge board for Oregon. Yeah. Distance, they won't let that be a factor, but let's be real. Ohio State's going to be very, very diligent not letting this guy get out of their home state. So we'll see how this battle shapes up, but it looks like that might be the early battle right now, Oregon and Ohio State.
Yeah, big visit to get him on campus this early in the cycle. All right, so let's circle back to Achilles Smith. He's committed to Oregon. I actually put in the first prediction for Achilles Smith to land at Oregon. Now, he's from California, and he made it in. How much of a help is it to have a quarterback like this that's a recognizable name on campus for big junior day events like this?
Yeah, I think you talk to any coach in America, and if they're speaking bluntly, that's a huge recruiting tool. A guy like Achilles Smith, highly ranked. He's obviously going to work on the offensive guys, but just having him committed gives a lot of strength to the program. Not to mention his dad, obviously a legacy, a lot of history made at Oregon, went to the NFL. He was on campus as well with him, so you have him around. So kind of a double dip and just another very strong recruiting tool for any school, but in this case with Achilles Smith and Oregon, just great to have him around and be around those guys that Oregon is definitely prioritizing early on.
All right, now to the battle that has been brewing for the last couple months over Gatlin Bair. When he decommitted from Boise State a couple months ago, it was Oregon and it was Michigan. And he's the number 30 player overall. And there's really not many players available. So this recruitment, it only intensifies because of that. And for a long time, Justin, he was trending to Michigan, right? Then Dan Lanning announces he's staying. Jim Harbaugh announces he's leaving. And now, Oregon on the recruiting prediction machine is trending at 88%. You put a pick in yesterday. EJ Holland put a pick in yesterday. Steve Wiltfong put a pick in yesterday. What is going on? Is it just a matter of time before Gatlin Bair commits to Oregon?
Feels like it. Obviously we're approaching the original signing day, which is no longer the headliner. But prior to the early signing day, I thought if Bair did not delay his commitment into this period, I was about to put a prediction in for Michigan, and then Oregon was able to do that. That was the key, was getting him to hang on and not put that prediction in. And as you can see, the result of that is Harbaugh going to the NFL. Probably a great decision by him, but that opened the door for Oregon. And I think that was just kind of the last, shoe to drop, if you will, in his recruitment. So yeah, a month ago, this was all Michigan's to lose, but with the changes and everything that's happened in that month, this one feels very strongly in favor of Oregon right now.
So can anything change between now and next Wednesday? I mean, does Michigan have an in-home visit left? Do you think he goes anywhere this weekend? I mean, we're down to the final 6 or 7 days.
Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere this weekend. I think he'll just lay low with his family and probably, think this thing out. I don't know how Michigan's in-home visits are set up because of Harbaugh leaving. Do they have another one they can use under Sharon Moore, who's not yet the head coach as we know? So I don't know how that'll work for Michigan, but as far as that goes, I expect it'll be fairly quiet for the Bear camp. And I don't know that he'll commit on the signing day per se, but we'll probably hear something early next week, if not.
All right. Well, Gatlin Bair, the number 30 overall ranked player in America, is now trending to Oregon, and partially because of Justin Hopkins. So, Justin, thank you for stopping by the Inside Scoop and talking a little Oregon recruiting today.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content, be sure to subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We have a new page dedicated only to recruiting. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now.